what you want me to be. Feeling so faithless, lost under the surface. Don't know what you're expecting of me, put under the pressure of walking in your shoes.
Caught in the undertow, just caught in the undertow.
Every step that I take is another mistake to you.
Caught in the undertow, just caught in the undertow.
I've become so numb, I can't feel you there. Become so tired, so much more aware. I'm becoming this. All I want to do is be more like me and be less like you. I've become so Can't you see that you're smothering me? Holding too tightly, afraid to lose control.
All right, I know we're all excited to get into the Zach Pyron interview, but first, a word from our sponsor, Section 103. Now, if you've watched WreckTalk for any length of time, you know that WreckTalk is a huge fan of Section 103. I was talking about how great these guys were well before I ever did a sponsored video with them. Benjamin London, 247 reporter, also a huge fan. They're one of the few Georgia Tech apparel providers that has the official Georgia Tech colors. You don't find that many places. They have the official ATL branding. You're going to find that. This shirt's actually a Section 103 shirt I bought. They have the Brent Key hoodie I highly recommend getting for all you diehard Tech fans out there. They have apparel for men, women, even the little children. Anything you're going to want. They have stickers, all of that. Started by a Georgia Tech grad. And for a limited time, if you use code RECTALK, you're going to get 10% off your order, which is so simple a Georgia fan can figure it out. So check that out. And with that, let's get into the interview. Everyone, we have a very special guest here, the one, the only, Zachary Pyron. Mr. Pyron, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing very well. So I don't, where it looks like you're recovering from your injury well. How is that coming along? Was it a clavicle on your non-throwing arm?
Yes, sir. There's a clavicle on my left arm, so like left shoulder, and it's going really well. I'm healing really good. It's feeling really good. So we're on track, doing what I need to be doing, and I'm feeling really good. So
awesome. Do you expect to play in the spring game?
I believe so. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Cool. Well, looking at your resume, super impressive. So, 3 of your 4 years in high school, you win state titles. So you win 2 state titles at the AA level, and you said that's not enough, though. Let me go to the 6A and win one of those. Kind of tell us about your high school career, playing the quarterback position in Alabama. What was that like?
It was awesome. I wouldn't change it for a thing, So, 9th grade year, played at a smaller school. We were kind of like a hybrid wing offense. Ran the ball a good bit. Wasn't really throwing it, so I was asked to run the ball 20, 30 times a game. And
That sounds like the triple option.
yeah, that's basically what it was. I was also playing defense, so I was playing offense and defense my 9th and 10th grade year. We had a really good team. Went 30-0 that year, and then, decided, if I wanted to go play some college ball, I'm gonna have to throw the ball a little bit more, showcase that I can do some things. So I moved to Pinson Valley, which was the 2nd highest classification in Alabama, and surrounded myself with some really good coaches, some really good players, and went to state championship that year. And then, my senior year, didn't make it as far as we wanted to, but still had a really good year.
So, at what point in your career did Tech start recruiting you?
My senior year.
Okay. Who recruited you?
So Coach Key offered me.
Okay.
And then it was Coach Key and Coach Patnode, who was a former OC before Coach Long, were the 2 that really recruited me hard. And then when some coaching turnover happened, Coach Key was the one really recruited me hard, and also Coach Coleman. So when I had my in-home visit, Coach Collins, Coach Key, and Coach Coleman all flew in And then when Coach Long got hired, Coach Key and Coach Long flew in, and those were so I kind of went through phases of different coaches getting in and
Yeah.
going out. So really, the biggest one was Coach Key. He was a steady factor in all of it.
Okay, so I imagine you're pretty obviously close with Coach Key. Seems like he's been I guess the common denominator throughout your time at Tech. So why did you choose Tech? Because they obviously they weren't the only one who offered you, right? Like what was it about Tech that made you commit, especially with kind of this turnover that was going on?
Well, I saw that that you know the program Tech used to be, the prestigious winning program they had. There's a lot of history with Tech, and I just wanted to help bring Tech back to what it was. Make it a powerhouse like it used to be, and try and build that back. And then also, Coach Key did a really good job recruiting me, telling me everything I needed to hear. And then from school wise, it's a 40-year decision. Football is going to end someday, no matter if you make it to the league or not. And Tech sets the players up in great positions to be successful off the field, outside of football. So all kind of the factors of being able to play for a historic, dominant powerhouse football team, bring them back to where they were, the chance of being that, and then also, the school that it actually is. It's a great school, great academic school. So.
For sure, yeah. There's not a degree at Tech that you're not going to be able to have a pretty decent career with. So you already mentioned kind of this turnover of coaches. So you've gone through a transition. This will be your third OC that you've dealt with since you've been there at Georgia Tech, from Pat Node to Long to Buster Faulkner. Now, have you met with Buster yet, or have you talked to him at all?
Yes, sir. So I met with Buster right when he got hired. It was funny. I was actually, when they're interviewing Coach Faulkner, I happened to be walking by Coach Key's office
Oh, wow.
to go talk with somebody, and I got to say hey to him. So I've got to talk with Buster some, and we've been doing some stuff there. Right now, all the coaches are getting the offense put together. So we got I think I probably talk to Coach Faulkner once a day. So.
Oh, awesome. So what's your feel of Buster? Because I know the kind of word on the street is he was the mechanic for Stetson's success at Georgia. I mean, is he just like a good old laid back guy? Like, how you feel about Buster?
He's definitely a fiery dude on the field. He's gonna get after us. He's gonna coach us hard. But what's awesome about Coach Faulkner is that he's a good dude off the field. He really cares about his players. He has a genuine relationship with us, and he's gonna make sure that he's showing us love. But also, as soon as we step across that white line on the field, he's gonna coach us hard. He's gonna expect us to operate fast. Rid the middle mistakes and all these things. So he's got a good, he's a really good guy. I feel like we're going to make a really good connection with him. And I also love his coaching style. He's not going to be a laid back coach. He's going to be out there. He's going to be coaching us hard, and he's going to expect a lot out of us. But in return, we're expecting a lot out of him, and he knows that. And he's going to work just as hard as we do to help us be successful.
Right. Do you have a feel for what style of offense he wants to run, and do you have a preference? Is there a style of offense you like to run? I mean, I'm sure at quarterback you want to open up and throw it.
Of course, I'd like to throw it, but honestly, whatever it takes to win. Winning's the main priority for me. I love to win, and all these things. I'm not exactly sure what Coach Faulkner is going to want to do, just because him and the coaching staff is still putting together everything. They've not had as much time together as some guys, so they're trying to get everything ready by spring. So I'm sure by spring we'll know exactly what we want to do. Right now he's still putting everything together, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to win. So whatever Coach Faulkner asks of me is what I'm going to try and do and do my best at.
Awesome. So I also wanted to ask you, you had very interesting season last year with, you go from basically running the scout team to really a week later being the guy. Right. What was that like for you? Was that kind of jarring? Was it just kind of like, hey, this one thing at a time, this is the next thing?
Yeah, it was, Coach Winkie always tells us everybody has a role in the QB room. And, like he said at the time, my role wasn't to be the guy yet. We had Jeff, and, Jeff was performing really well until he got injured. And like Coach Winkie was telling me, and Coach Key also would tell me, scout team is a really good way to improve, like I wouldn't have been anywhere near where I was last year, ready to play if it wasn't for scout team. I was getting to go against that defense every single day live. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I was getting to go live against them every single day, work on my skills, and then at night I was getting to learn the offense and meet with the offensive guys. So, the scout team was a huge, huge, huge help for me to develop my skills and take that year to develop. And then Virginia game when Jeff ended up getting hurt, and we had that bye week afterwards. That bye week I really worked hard on trying to understand the offense and understand everything. And then Florida State came, so luckily that bye week got us time to get used to getting a rhythm. And it was a big change, but Coach Winkie does a really good job getting us prepared and getting us ready. And no matter who you are in the quarterback room, he's always going to expect you to be ready to play. And he tells everybody to prepare every week like you're the starter. So, Coach Winkie did a really good job helping us get ready for it.
Yeah, and maybe walk us through that too, because I think against Virginia, Jeff goes down. Zach comes in, struggles a little bit. I'm not here to dog on anyone at all. Florida State, he gets the first series, and I'm sure it was communicated to you that like you were going to get some playing time in this Florida State game. But Gibson gets the first series, and then you go in on the road against one of the better teams in the ACC. Like, what were you feeling going out there? Like, what was that like? I'm sure it had to be thrilling.
It was awesome. It was something you always dream of. For me, dreamed growing up playing college football, and it was pretty cool getting to do it against Florida State. A prestigious college. They have a really good fan base there. It was a packed game, and they're kind of going to use me as to run the ball a little bit more to get some of the run game going. And when I went in there, this is a testament to Coach Winkie and Coach Key's coaching style. They make practices so hard where, I went into the game, I wasn't nervous, or anything. I was ready to play, because we practice so hard and they expect so much out of us for practice, where it really does make the game so much easier. So, I was excited to play. I was ready to go, and it felt good being able to be on that field.
So you weren't nervous at all that first snap? Like, I don't remember if it was out of the gun or not, but I would probably be thinking like, please just don't fumble this or do something.
Yeah, it was out of the gun. It was a quarterback power. So
okay,
got me hit first, got me feeling good, got all the jitters out. But I really wasn't even nervous going into it. I always say if you prepare as hard as you can, there should be no reason you're nervous because you did all you can through the week. So I prepared as much as I could have, and once you get in the game, there's nothing else you can do except play. So,
and I think that's like a testament, and I don't think people give Coach Winkie enough credit for putting you guys in the best position to succeed. As opposed to just having a card like we're going to run these 5 plays to start off the game or whatever. Like, I think a quarterback power with you is genius, because it's like you don't really have to worry about getting the handoff right or anything. It's just get it and go. What was because it seemed like Winkie was calling the plays toward the end of the season. What was that like with Winkie?
Yeah, Coach Winkie's awesome. He's so minute in the small details, and expects a lot out of us and coaches really hard. But when we get in that film room, it's always like, look, what'd you see here? What's all this? And he's really understanding and tries to walk through with us. But as soon as we step on the field, it's hard coaching. He's a hard coach to play for, but you got to love it because it's what makes you better. I'm not exactly sure the last 2 weeks if he was calling plays or not, because I didn't travel to a North Carolina game because I just had surgery, and then Georgia game. So I wasn't exactly sure about those 2 weeks. But, Coach Winkie did a really good job communicating with Coach Long last year about what we were comfortable with, what we weren't comfortable with. And, they would always communicate between every play. Coach Long would ask for inputs on what we like or didn't like and all these things. And Coach Winkie does a really good job doing what's best for us and putting us in the best position to be successful.
So, obviously don't get the result we want against Florida State. Then we go stay on the road, go to Blacksburg, Virginia. Very tough place to play, and ended up balling out. I mean, it was back and forth. We just kind of kept clawing. What was that game like for you?
Oh, it was a fun game. The Enter Sandman entrance is pretty cool. Virginia Tech has a great fan base, extremely loud game. That was a really fun game. Coach Long said it was a fun game to call. we were doing pretty good the first half, and then some ups and downs went, and that just shows the testament of how the team, how much we're willing to fight. We had that pick six happen. That was kind of a fluke play.
Yeah.
Wasn't really expecting that linebacker to make a play like that, and then that punt return hurt us. But that's a testament, one, to the defense too.
Yes.
Explaining how good they are, and that was a game where we kind of really all came together as a team, and we were like, look, nobody else is going to believe in us with this however much time left being down these two scores. This is really just up to us to do something, and everybody stayed together. And then I can't remember the sequence. I think we threw the touchdown first, and that put us between one, and then we got to stop again, and then we had that. I had that rushing touchdown, and it kind of was a testament to everybody. Really good running attack right there with Dante and Hassan and Jamie the whole game, and then being able to throw what we wanted to. They had a really good defensive scheme. It was hard to scheme for, and everybody just really battled that game and fought offensively and defensively, and really came together as a team. It was an extremely fun game to play in.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know or not, I actually just talked with Clayton Powell-Lee right before I talked to you, and I think that was the game that really displayed, like, something would go wrong on offense, and then Lee, Ely, and Thomas, one of them is going to come up with a turnover or step up and make a big play and give you another chance. That was amazing. So then, the Miami comes in. I'll be honest, when you scored the touchdowns against Virginia Tech, I thought you took an awkward hit on your shoulder there where the guy came in on the side of you. I don't know if if that might have given you banged you up a little bit there. But you come into Miami and I guess walk us through that, man. I mean, it's got to be heartbreaking to step up, be the guy in your freshman year, and have your season end there.
Yeah, I mean, it sucked how it ended, but at least I got some experience. I got some playing time under my belt. And, going into the Miami game, I've tried to pride myself on being the toughest guy on the field that I can be, or being the toughest guy on the field. So I was battling some stuff already going into the Miami game, all the way back from the Florida State game that I was having to battle with. So, like, my thing is I can't make excuses for it, because I played in the game. And if you're going to play in the game, then, you got to be as good as you can be and prepared. So, Miami had a really good team. We kind of came out slow, and then we had that 99-yard drive right before halftime, and we were down 14-7. And then I think we had a good drive right at the third quarter, got stopped, and we were driving the ball again right before I got hurt and threw that interception on that trick play. But
that was after you got hurt.
I broke my collarbone to drive before that, and I kind of got up, just thought I dislocated it. And I was like, oh, I think I can keep playing through it. So I didn't say nothing. And, as soon as I went to clap to get the ball, I really couldn't move my left hand. I was like, yeah, it don't feel right. And as soon as I threw it, I was like, yeah, I don't have any power because, that was a touchdown if I'm not hurt. Dylan's wide open. I can throw it. It's not going to be undercut and anything. And we have a tie game right there. So, I wish I wouldn't have got hurt. The game might have been a little bit different. I would like to say we would have tied it up that drive. It would have been 14-14, but that's football. You got to deal with adversity. Like Coach Winkie says, you can't blink an eye. You got to keep going. And, I tried to play through it for as long as I could. And I was just like, I'm just going to end up hurting the team if I keep trying to. So,
do you feel like you learned anything from that? Because the play that you got hurt on, you'd already gotten the first down, and then, ton of respect because you're like, I just want to make contact and drive through this guy and end up getting hurt. Has Winkie talked to you about maybe like, hey, just slide right there after the fight?
Yeah, he's talking to me about learning, when to protect myself and when not to. That was my fault for thinking it was third down because we had a penalty the play before that.
Right.
So instead of it being third down, it was second down. So I thought it was 3rd and 15, and I thought I needed about another yard or two.
Yeah.
So I was trying to get the first down, but if I would have known it was second down, I would have slid. And if I would have known I already had the first down, I would have slid. So that kind of comes in with having awearness and, just keep improving my game, but that's something Coach Key talked with me about after the game. He's like, it was a really good learning game for us. We learned a lot. And, just my IQ from those situations gone up a lot to help me going into this year just to keep improving.
Yeah, and it's easy for us to say watching the game, right? You don't have this bright yellow line that says this is the first down, right? You're just trying to make a play on the field. I also want to talk about, so this is something I'd asked Clayton. We've gone through kind of the worst stretch we have in the time I've watched Georgia Tech. 3-9, 3-9, 3-9, and then end up making, I think, something out of kind of a bad situation. So we transitioned from Coach Collins to Coach Key. And what I told Clayton is one of the things that I really respected about Brent Key was he didn't really dance around the issue. He was asked, "Did you change anything about practice?" And he said, "Absolutely. We changed everything about practice." What was that like for you guys? What changes did you guys see implemented, etc.?
Yeah, that's that's a testament to Coach Key, but also some of the leaders we had on the team last year. Some of the leaders are on the team were like, look, we can either lay down or roll over and be done with a year because something bad happened, or we can all step up, make a change and keep playing and, play as hard as we can, and that's something that, Coach Key, we love Coach Key and we play extremely hard for Coach Key and we do anything for him. Personally, I would do anything for Coach Key. And, that's a testament to all the players and everybody on how the respect we have for Coach Key. And, we really didn't ask any questions. We really didn't complain. We just went to work and, did what he asked. We did it as hard as we could. And, that's a testament to, the leaders on the team, making sure everybody knew that. And then Coach Key also.
Yeah. And obviously, I'm not here to bash anyone who's not there anymore. That's not my goal. Was there anything that Key changed that you were like, yes, that's awesome. I'm glad he did that?
Yeah, there are a few things. I know every coach has their own philosophy. Coach Key being from under Coach Saban, you look at that Saban tree of assistant coaches and now our head coaches that are successful. So, Coach Key changed some things, that may have helped us a little bit more. But like every coach has their own philosophy and their own way of doing things. So.
He also coached under George O'Leary, who had a lot of success at Tech for about 15 years. So we have a ton of weapons at wide receiver coming in this season with Chase Lane. I think we have like 8 wide receivers coming in. I don't think Chase is going to be here for the spring because I think he's finishing up his degree at Texas A&M. How do you feel about the new talent coming in, the weapons that you might have this season?
Between the guys we got coming back and the guys we coming in, I think we're going to be really talented at the receiving core. We got guys like Leo Blackburn, who hopefully is going to be healthy this year. He's been battling injuries every year. DJ Moore, who's in my class. Then we got Malik Rutherford, who's going to step up for some guys transferring out. He proved in the last 2 games that he can do it. And then Christian Leary,
yes,
another stud. So, I can name every single receiver on the team and be happy with them. So,
yeah,
that's the guys are working really hard too. The receivers are working really hard. We got a really great receiver coach now with Coach Crawford. He's proven from where he's been. So, really, right now, it's Coach Key's giving us everything we need to be successful. Now it's just up to us to work as hard as we can. Do we want it or not? And I think these guys want it, and they're doing everything we ask them to do and more. So.
And I think that's a good question, too. You do have a lot of people you haven't necessarily played with before, and you can make the right read, but if the timing isn't right, and there's kind of a trust, I would think, between you and your wide receiver. When you throw the stop, he's going to turn at the time you expect him to turn. So,
absolutely. That's Coach Winky's big on rhythm and timing of our feet, which also we have to tie that up with the route. So that's why we try to throw as much as we can in the offseason right now to, one, to learn how these guys run, to see how they run routes, and also establish some chemistry between everybody. And that's really important, and that's testament to the receivers explaining how hard they work and how willing they are to throw and stuff. And, just making sure that we're successful in everything we do. So.
I imagine y'all film your throwing motions too and break them down.
A little bit. Coach Winky's not huge on changing throw motions because we've been doing it our whole life.
Right.
He'll fix some stuff. Like last year I had some questions when I was throwing and stuff. And, he'll fix some stuff and mechanic wise on it. And Coach Winky's extremely detailed on all the small details and thinks those are extremely important. So, anything that he feels that he can help us to make us a better thrower, he's gonna suggest and have us do.
So going in, I guess along those lines, going into the spring, what do you feel like you need to improve on? I know for most quarterbacks, footwork is usually something you can improve on, and especially if you have a strong arm, you kind of get away with bad habits in your footwork. So, what do you think you can improve on, and what do you think that you do really well?
I definitely think I could improve on footwork. Coach Winky would say the same thing. I think, you ask every quarterback, it all starts with your feet.
Mm.
If you're inaccurate, more than likely it's your feet. Another thing is like being able to control the offense, knowing the offense like it's the back of my hand, being able to operate it, know what the next play call is going to be because I'm so familiar with Coach Faulkner and Coach Winky, what they want, be able to predict those things. Like football IQ, understanding defenses, what they're going to do, what to expect, what to do with the ball in certain situations, and all those things. It's a bunch of little easy things to fix, but they're extremely important. So things like
Sure.
that.
Yeah, because that can be the difference in converting a 3rd and 5 and not because you sail it. Because
Right.
you're not transitioning your weight and you're opened up a little too much in your feet.
Right.
What else? There was something else along those lines I wanted to ask you. I'll come back to it. So we've had a ton of people come in through the portal. Obviously, our quarterback room looks a lot different. So Pumachan gone, so it'll be you, Gibson, and then a highly recruited guy in Haynes King. I don't think he's on campus yet either. I don't think he'll be there for. Oh, he is. Okay, so I guess he finished up his degree already. I guess what does that room look like this season, and how do you feel about the competition in the quarterback room going into this season?
Right. It's definitely great competition. We all push each other. It's extremely important to have a room that's competitive. Like Coach Winky says, QB room is going to be the most competitive room because only one of them can play. So, we always push each other, but at the same time, pushing each other is going to help each other because, it's going to help us learn from each other. We're going to help each other learn, so it's going to be really good competition. And, like Coach Winky says, the best is going to play, and whoever that is, we'll see. So it's up to me just to work as hard as I can and, make sure I'm doing everything I can and control what I can control.
Yeah. And I guess walk us through that too. I think that's something, a lot of people watch football don't have an understanding of. From the time that you go up to take the snap, right? I guess the first thing you're doing is identifying the coverage if it's a pass. We'll assume it's a pass. So they're in cover 2. And then you have, from the time you snap the ball to throw it, you have what, maybe 2 seconds to make all these reads and make a decision?
Yeah, that seems about right. First thing we got to do is, we got to get the play from the sideline, make sure everybody is lined up correct way. And then if we have motions or have to move people to certain positions, and then also make protection calls with the offensive line, tell them where to go. If it's a pass play, we got to look at the defense alignment to see where we have leverage and all these things and what the coverage might possibly be because you can never tell what the coverage is pre-snap because
Right.
everybody guys it. You can get an idea of what to expect. And then as soon as the ball snap, you have about 2 to 3 seconds to see coverage and then go through your progressions to see where you got to get the ball.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like I told Clayton Powell, I think you and him have the toughest positions. Obviously, quarterback's tough. There's a lot of moving pieces. Defensive back and corner, you're playing backpedaling the whole time, which is tough. Let's see. So you talked a lot about competition, and it seems like now, no one's position is really guaranteed. Like we're going to put the best guy on the field we can. Would you say it's been that way always?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's sports in general. You want to be successful, you got to have your best players on the field, and that's what I think Coach Key's going to do. He's going to try and put the best players on the field and players that you can trust out there. So, that's what we got to do to win.
Absolutely. Well, is there anything you'd like to talk about, man? Is there anything you'd like to say to Tech Nation or anything like that?
Just like thank you for the support. I know it can be hard trying to support year after year after year lately. That we've only been getting 3 wins. But just thank you for the support. We're working extremely hard right now to get back to success. And we're just asking for y'all to continue to support us. We're definitely busting our butts every single day. Coach Key's making the right changes. We got Coach AJ now with the strength staff. That's completely different. We're making huge changes there. So Coach Key's doing everything for us to be successful. We're working extremely hard, and we just want to say thank you for the support and constantly being there and always supporting us.
Oh, I guess I'll ask you this too. So, what goals do you have going into this season? What are your goals?
Goals are definitely to make a bowl game this year, ACC championship. Those are
Yep.
the two goals. 8 or more wins. Just to be successful this year is my goal. To do everything at my best ability I can, and help lead this team where we know it can be. So
Awesome. So, Zach, what's your favorite YouTube channel that covers Georgia Tech?
It's definitely WreckTalk. They do everything the right way. They're extremely supportive in everything they do for us, and they do everything for us that we need them to do, and give us the exposure we need, and always supporting us. And I think the biggest thing is they do it the right way. So definitely the WreckTalk.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for doing this, Zach. We're definitely going to be I'll be at every home game this season. I'll be at 2 away games as well. And go Jackets, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.